don't cost you nothing.
Hey YouTube, it's Auntie Mickey. Coming back to you on part 7 of Stone Paxton's series on Angie Stone. I'm kind of behind a few days in following up with his videos, but this is catch-up time for me. Basically what I want to say is this. I trust this man more so than anybody else on here talking about Angie Stone. Number one, he's an insider in the circle of the business. He appears to be the voice of reason in a space where everyone else is sounding. That's all I can say about that. Yes, we are living in times where up is down and down is up. He spoke in this particular video. He said, lies are truth and the truth are lies. Those are the times that we're living in. Too many people are so used to watching movies and listening to podcasts that depict this mysterious ambiance of cloak and dagger. This thing is real. When he speaks on Angie, it comes from a personal place. This is why I trust him. His information that he shares may not be salacious or mysterious, but it's more critical to look at the case on a more conceivable level, which is what lies at the foundation of the debauchery that possibly led to Angie's demise. Too many content creators are diluting the true problem at hand by adding their own over-the-top narratives to this situation. It becomes entertainment rather than getting to the root of the problem, getting to the very bottom of the practice with many African-American entertainers and artists in the industry. I admire Stone because he doesn't steer away from what's at hand. Justice for Angie. And I think that's all we want, all of us, is justice for Angie. Some people look at the justice different than others. People want to look at her demise, getting justice for her demise. But in order to get that, you got to get to the foundation of what caused the problem. You got to get to the root of the problem. And the root is where all the debauchery lies. This is how people end up gone. How it happened is at this point irrelevant. She's gone. And she was done wrong. Like so many other people in the entertainment business have experienced, they've been done foul. Some people walked away. Some people didn't. And it seems as though the ones that don't walk away and try to push forward and forge forward, those are the ones that end up paying in the end. Not only has the industry proven to be corrupt, but social media has become equally as corrupt. For different reasons, of course, because clicks and views equal revenue in content creator pockets. Too much dishonesty involved here. But I'm going to step away from this. I'm going to get off my platform. And I'm going to go ahead and run his video. Because he has a lot of information to share, which will inevitably play a role in justice for Angie. So, if you're watching this video, hashtag justice for Angie. If you really mean it, hashtag justice for Angie. This isn't a movie of the week. This was someone's life. Auntie Mickey. And here's Stone Paxton.
I'm back again, you guys. And I know typically I'm in my car driving and talking to you guys. But I wanted to, after being in the studio tonight and work, I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about correcting some of the things that people seem to be taking and twisting from the last video. But before we get started, make sure you hashtag Justice for Angie Stone. I want all of you guys, and let's keep this movement going. Justice for Angie Stone. Hashtag it. If you post a picture of Angie Stone, make sure you hashtag Justice for Angie Stone. If you do a video, pull one of Angie Stone's videos from somewhere, hashtag Justice for Angie Stone. It doesn't matter what you do. Anything that has to do with Angie Stone, any of her songs or anything, make sure you hashtag Justice for Angie Stone. Now, let's get started on this, you guys, because I said I was going to reveal a police report, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. And I'm going to explain to you why and what this is about. My thing of speaking on this subject with Angie, I'll cover a few things that I want to talk about. But first, let's get into the first thing that I want to talk about. I've been noticing some bloggers that seem to take what I say and regurgitate it. And for the most, they've been pretty transparent with how they've been handling my content and re-sharing it. But it's the narrative that they spin on my content. And I don't know if they're doing this because they just want to have a really juicy story. I don't know if they're doing this because they just don't have nothing to talk about. I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm a speaker. I've been speaking all my life. I've been in the entertainment industry all my life. I know how to talk to people. I can talk on any subject, and I can take that subject and we can have a long conversation about it, right? But I'm just noticing that they'll play my stuff. They might say some good stuff in the beginning, but by the end of the conversation, they bring people on their show and these people spin narratives on what I'm saying. Now, am I disappointed in that? Absolutely not. Not really. But here's my thing. For those, my mother used to say something to me. She used to say, if you're not a genius, son, when people carry genius ability and capabilities, they don't have to write anything down. This is what my mother used to tell me, right? And I love my mom. She was incredible. But she said, when a person is a genius, they don't have to write anything down. So she said the people that will write things down are the people that, few things about these people that might not be quite on point. Their comprehension is horrible and they're not geniuses, so they have to write it down. So I say to people, listen, if you're going to misquote me, or if you're going to change the narrative of what I'm saying up, at least quote me right. At least quote what I say right. And for people talking about the things I say and you're putting a spin on it, because I see what you're doing. See, what you're doing is you're using the fact that I don't mention names and you're trying to turn that on me. You see, I see what you're doing. But I will say this to you guys again. There's so many people spreading the wrong information. Why don't you guys go on their channel and why don't you attack them for sharing the wrong information? No, you're not going to do that because maybe all of you guys are in cahoots. Listen, I've been on the YouTube a long time, so I get it. The reason why I'm talking about what I'm talking about now is because Angie is important to me and she will always be. And so her legacy must be kept alive through the truth. When you guys are spinning narratives on this stuff, you're actually killing the information. You might think that you're not, and you might think because I'm not mentioning names that I am doing something wrong, but I'm not. Absolutely not. What are you going to do with the information? You're not a detective. None of us are detectives. None of us work for the DOJ. None of us work for the Attorney General. So what are we going to do? We get the information, then what? Okay. And for those that say that, has he spoken to a police? Have he talked to a police? How do you know I haven't? Here's the thing. A detective called me, and this is my issue with this whole thing. When I spoke to the detective from Alabama, when he called me, he seemed like a real Opie kind of guy. Now, I'm not saying that out of disrespect for the detective, but it's like this guy didn't get it. When he called me and he was asking me questions and I'm listening to him talk, and I started saying, well, damn, I could do his job. This guy really didn't get it. And then this guy actually started asking me to go and get information for him. That's not my job. If you call me and ask me for what I know, I'm going to give you what I know. But it's not my job to go out and get you, sir, information. So for those of you asking me, did I speak to a police or somebody contacted me, but it just didn't seem to me. And I'm only telling you how I feel. it didn't seem like this person really was too concerned. Although this detective told me that they're taking this serious and, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't personally feel like this detective was taking the information he asked me serious, right? Because when you're dealing with a case, any little information matters, right? You guys agree with that, right? So did I speak with someone? Did somebody contact me? Absolutely, somebody did. But that's not the point. The point is you guys keep spinning narratives on what I'm saying. I know I'm not your typical content creator like what you guys do. I'm in the music industry. I'm really in the music industry. Like, for instance, this particular blogger had a young lady come on her channel and speak about codes. This woman knows nothing about codes. I heard her talk and I was like, why is it always the people that know nothing about the music industry that want to speak about the inner workings of it? This girl was saying stuff like, oh, well, you get your attorney and you could do that and you contact BMI and then you could do it. I know all about that. I've been an artist for a long time. If you've been an artist for a long time, then you share the proper information. You don't need an attorney to get codes. You don't need an attorney to even go and grab a song. If it gets to be a bit much, as far as like when it came to Angie's songs, it was a lot of stuff that was really messed up. Because let me explain to you guys about how that works so you understand. So for the ones that are not geniuses, I want you to take out a piece of paper right now because I don't want you to take my narrative and misquote it. So get a piece of paper right now. I'll give you a moment to gather a pen and paper so I can give you the breakdown of how this code thing works. Right now, if you gave me 300 of your songs, I could show you how to register those songs and get you an ISRC and a UPC, and you never had to pay a dime. I'm just saying. I do this every day. I do this every single day. You understand what I'm saying? So to the lady that has the platform, you're allowing people to come on your platform. I would vent people and make sure they know what they're talking about, because you're letting people come on your platform who don't even have the knowledge in the music industry, and they're trying to speak about the music industry. I know your show is rather controversy, and hey, and that's cool. I dig that. Whatever works for you works for you. And by the way, I appreciate you sharing my content, but I don't like how people spin it, because we're hurting this situation more than helping. So when you get on there and you try to tear the messenger down, you're not really helping the Angie movement. You're not helping as much as you might think you are. It's just a whole bunch of just blah, 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 blah is what's going on. So how it works with codes is, if I'm going to register a record, right? The codes work this way. The codes are strictly for registering the metadata so that you keep track of the sales, streaming data, and as well as download data of songs or albums. You understand? Also, when you register that, it allows the album to also be tracked via radio. So if this album charts on radio, you'll know what it's doing at radio as well with the ISRC and the UPC. You understand what I'm saying? You're able to know what that record is doing at all times. That's the purpose of registering. There's a few different things we're dealing with here. Copyright, publishing, mechanicals. There's just a lot of different elements to this music shit. So don't spin a narrative about stuff you don't know about. Now, let's get into the code thing. Once again, you register a record, it shoots you out an ISRC and UPC. You get both when you're registering albums. With Angie's situation, you guys, and understand, because I heard you guys talking about the whole code guy thing that I mentioned. Before we took over Angie's business of collecting the publishing, it was already a mess. That guy was already there. When we showed up on the scene, he was there. You understand what I'm saying? He was already there. So all that weird shit you're saying to the girl that was on the show speaking, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. I'm just keeping it 100. No disrespect. Know what you're talking about. Know what you're talking about. I understand you don't know me and you say you don't trust me. And I'm not on here trying to make friends. I'm not on here trying to make new friends. I'm not on here. I got enough friends. I don't need any more. So I'm not on YouTube trying to win nobody over. I could give a damn about if a person follows me or not. I could give a damn if a person does whatever. because I'm not on here to please anybody. I am on here for Angie, not for any of you guys. Remember that. So don't spin a narrative on something that is the truth because you don't understand it. Don't spin the narrative on something that is the truth because you want me to give you a name. Y'all fucking around with this bullshit name stuff. Like, y'all really tripping off a name. Like, there's so much other shit y'all could be doing. Like, let's do a rally or some shit about this. All of us could come together. All the bloggers could come together and meet in a place and do something special for Angie, for justice sake. But all this back and forth and y'all taking my shit and twisting it and trying to make me out to be something that I'm not with this situation, shame on you, because you're actually hurting the movement for Angie. You're not helping the shit. Y'all just talking for views. Y'all just talking for clickbait. Whatever the fuck is going on, that's what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? The code guy was here before my brother and I even took over Angie's business. Understand that. I did not know the code guy. I've never met the motherfucker. I talked to him on the phone. And when I talked to him and heard him stuttering, and I told Ange when I got off the phone, yeah, that shit ain't cool. Yeah, the dude is, yeah, he 15,000 for somebody to do that. And I even told Angie, I said, I could have generated those codes for you for nothing. It would have costed you nothing for me to generate those codes. Now, also, let's talk about this. How codes work is, and here's what the problem was with these songs with Angie. So when we got a hold of having to fix everything, man, this guy was taking, what was happening, he was taking songs of Angie's because somebody had taken her stuff, and these codes, ISRC codes and UPC codes, some songs had it, some didn't. And she wanted to recode everything, which in retrospective, I didn't think it was a good idea, but I had to roll with whatever Angie wanted to do. That's how she got into the situation with the dude. The dude convinced her that he could go in and recode all the songs, which is some stupid shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, because wherever the songs were parked at, he was trying to go in and change the code. So let me tell you what happens when you do that. Let's say we have 4,000 songs, right? And we got to go recode it. So when we stepped to the table to take over this, Angie told me, well, I got all this code guy is recoding my songs. And I was like, well, code guy? I said, who's the code guy? She put me on the phone with him. And I talked to him. I asked him a few questions. And I was confused. Like, I already knew it was a hustle in my head. Like, this is a straight up hustle, right? So when I got off the phone with her, I shared my sentiments to Angie about my thoughts of, this guy and, what the purpose of it was. And I told her that creating new codes is going to hold things up. Because remember, we were coming along to get Angie money. Now, mind you, when you have a whole bunch of songs and then you recode them, it fucks up everything, right? Because it displaces everything. So by this guy doing codes, it was holding us up from being able to go get my big brother Basal. It held him up from being able to go and get a check for her fast because Angie wanted to make sure she started getting things straightened out with her songs. But because that guy was involved, it held us up, and we actually had to wait maybe a couple weeks. And when I was I called Angie and I was like, well, what's going on? Because my big brother was calling me saying, let's get Angie on the phone and figure out what's going on with these codes. We get her on the phone. She's like, he's still working on it. He's going through all of them. He just did 10 today. He's going to do 20 tomorrow. It's like one of those things. And I was like, dang, Stoney. I'm like, man, dude, it shouldn't take that long. But he was telling her that, it was taking that long. And she was very adamant about it. And I spent $15,000 and, this should have been done. She told the guy, she hit him up and she called me back and said she told him he's taking too long. Like, and then she felt kind of bad for the guy. She did, because she told me. And she said, I feel bad because, I know he's trying. And I said, no, Stoney, he's not trying. If he was trying, that shit would have been done. Period. Simple as that. It would have been done. Like, I do this shit every day. It would have been done. Right. So it came to a point where shit started not to make even that much more sense. And it was continuously holding us up. Meanwhile, Stoney wanted a check. And we were telling her, these people are touching the stuff and fucking it up. They need to let it go so we can take it over. By the time we took it over, it's like some ninth hour shit. I mean, once you get it and then it's still already discombobulated. Then we found out when we took it over that a lot of those records were registered under another dude's name, another person's name that was tight with her at one point. You know what I'm saying? One of her legalese. And I'm not going to say that name either because I don't need to. But the circle knows what I'm saying because we were all on the phone. Okay. So we found out the songs were registered to that person's name. So remember, we got out of one situation trying to clean that up with the codes. And the guy never got all the codes, by the way, just to let y'all know. He never even got all those codes. She paid $15,000 and never got all of the codes that she wanted to get. So know that. OK, so now hopefully you guys understand it better because I wanted you to understand the code guy was already there before we took over the situation. So hopefully that helps you understand it better. Now let's get into what I really want to get into. So I hate revisiting stuff, but you got so many people that just the comprehension. I don't know what's happened to people, but these days motherfuckers' comprehensions is just gone. People's comprehension is like, they need to bring that shit back in school. You know, the reading and comprehension, that because we need it because people's comprehension is just, it's non-existent. Okay. So about maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I wanted to talk about this young lady. It's weird. It's weird. Initially, I felt like it wasn't connected to this situation. But when the girl sent me the text, and she was so confident about everything. And, you know, for like 2 days, I wouldn't take her phone call. She sent me a message. I'm going to post the message so you can see that I'm not making this shit up. All right. For all you that take my words and twist it. She sent me an inbox message on Instagram. She introduced herself and she was talking to me like she knew me. So I said, she's talking like, you'll read it. And then I asked her, do you know me? Have we spoken? She said, no, we haven't. And then she went into telling me these various things about how she went to the second funeral. And by the way, for those that want to know why I didn't go to the funeral, the honest to God truth, that person in the middle that was actually putting together the obituary, they didn't send me the invitation. And it made me feel some kind of way. And I felt kind of uncomfortable because I never got a formal invitation to go to the funeral from them, from her, because she was putting it together. All she had to do, Angie's administrative assistant, all she had to do was send me a text and say, Stone, this is the date for the funeral. I don't know, how would you guys have felt? I know some people say you still should have went. There's a lot of people I know that was close to Angie that didn't go because everything was such a mess. So because we had been on the phone talking business all the time, I felt really weird, and my brother felt weird. He wasn't gonna go to the funeral. He wanted to go. Then he felt like it was just a lot of mess, you guys. Then I started thinking about the planes and all that weird shit that was happening with the planes. And because of the dynamic of all the stuff that had already happened, I was like, and the energy I was getting, I didn't want to be sitting in the funeral with some fake shit happening because I would have said something. And then I'm not trying to ruin nobody's funeral by saying something that would have upset a lot of people because I'm still riding for Angie. You understand what I'm saying? So I just didn't go. Because that was pretty much the main reason, because of the invitation. After speaking with you for 3 or 4 days and then you don't send me an invitation, the administrative assistant, I never got an invitation, right? So it's all good. So I didn't go. And you know what? I found out later that probably was the best thing I could do, was not go. I'm going to say it again, was not to go. There was a reason, wasn't meant for me to be there. Now let's get back into this girl. The young lady sent me a message. And I'm trying not to make this video long, but it looks like it's going to be long. I might have to chop it up in parts. So this might be the ending part of one video. So I'll stop here. If you want to see the other half, you can go to my YouTube. But for TikTok, it might just end right here. Okay. So go to my YouTube if you want to see the rest of the video. Let's start back. the girl sent me a message and she started to have dialogue with me. And she told me, her and Angie had come together to work on some kind of documentary called Seven or something like that, right? And she was the executive producer. She said she was putting the money up. And I said, okay. I said, okay, cool. She sent me a text. Now, this girl had been calling my phone. I didn't know who it was. Calling, sending messages in Instagram, calling. And I was like, man, who is this? And I read it and I didn't trust her because I felt initially like it might have been somebody trying to do a little low-key troll to get information from me. And I'm one of them sharp dudes. Like, you can't troll me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 55 years old. You're not going to be able to just troll me out. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sharp. You know what I'm saying? My third eye is just sharp. So I didn't speak to this girl on the phone for 2 days. And then finally, I allowed her to call me. But when she called me, she said some weird shit. She started talking to me. She said she had a lot to tell me. She had already sent me a screenshot of what she said. And what the screenshot said is this. I'm only going to tell you what it said. Better yet, I'm not even going to tell you. I am going to post what this screenshot said. When she sent it to me, I was shocked. So I say to her, why would somebody want to hurt you? Right? She said, well, can I talk to you? I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk through the message. I want to talk to you on the phone. Can I? And I was like, okay, call me. When she called me, she immediately, started talking for a little bit. And then she said, can I get my dad on the phone? That alarmed me because if you spent 3 or 4 days trying to get a hold of me and said you had all this stuff to tell me, and then immediately you want to get your dad on the phone. I didn't know who could have been listening on the fucking phone that she wanted to call. So I was like, nah, I'm good. And all of a sudden the phone hung up in the middle of her saying, I guess she was going to put her dad on the phone. Like I said, I didn't know if it was her father or not. I was just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So it hung up. I was like, hey, that was perfect. So she texted me back. She said, I apologize. My phone hung up. And then I get a call from a Detroit number. It was her father. I listened to the message. And he said, my daughter, did she explain to you this? Did she tell you that? I apologize. The phone hung up. I told her that, she, it's you're probably going to think it's weird that she's reaching out to you. And everything he said, I had thought. I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Right. So I finally decided to call her. But I had a friend of mine call her because I didn't want my number to show up, right? In case she was on something or up to something, right? So my friend called her and I talked to her, right? And we were chopped it up. And she told me that somebody threatened her life. I told her, I know, I saw the text. I said, but why would they want to do that? And she said, I didn't go to the first funeral, but I went to the second funeral. And she said, I know things. She didn't tell me what she knew because we still haven't gotten into that. But I'm still trying to make sense of it, you guys. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I am only sharing the information. This is why I'm going to show you the text in my Instagram. I'm going to show you the conversation we had. And I asked her specifically, why do you want to share this information with me? And she was talking to me like she had spoken to me. And that's what bothered me. I was like, I've never talked to you. I've never, I thought she might have been part of the 3 other, men and some other people that had hit me up, the anonymous people that had hit me up, right? I thought she was part of that, right? But it wasn't. She was somebody brand new. And literally, I'm getting people every day that are inboxing me with all kinds of shit. You kind of got to be careful with what you take in. I don't like, what I'm saying? Like, I know what was going on. So you can't come in my inbox and tell me some shit that I don't already know, especially about the business I had with Angie. So the other shit that people have been telling me, excuse my language, but I wasn't really concerned with the stuff she was saying. But when she sent me that screenshot and what it said, I said, damn, I'm going to post it. And I'll let you guys read it. I was shocked. So I don't know, you guys. Tell me what your thoughts of this message that this girl screenshot for me. And I'm going to show you. So you see that she actually shared it in my Instagram. It was on the 17th. Then she went to the police department, I think on the 22nd. You'll see in the police report the date. I have to cover her father's name up and stuff. But she went to the police department and she filed a police report as a threat, that somebody made a threat on her life. You know what I mean? So you guys tell me what you think about this. This is information I'm sharing. She reached out to me. She said she didn't trust any other bloggers. I asked her, how come you didn't just go online and do it yourself? And she said she saw my video and she know that I had worked with Angie as well as herself. So she wanted to share it within the circle, because I definitely told her, you could have took that to another blogger, could have took that to somebody, another content creator, but she wanted to bring that to me. So I want you to take a look at this and you guys tell me your thoughts. We're in different times. People are not made like they were made years ago when we were young. Like, you know, we have different kind of humans now. People just don't seem to piece things together too fast. So they think the lie is the truth. And I'll say this again, and the truth is a lie. And that's all I can say to you. But what I want you to do is just take a look at this and leave a comment and tell me you guys' thoughts. I know you're going to ask me, did you tell her to go to the police? She had already went to the police. I didn't need to tell her that. But what was freaky about the police thing was when she talked to me, she was acting like she was telling me that the police wanted to talk to me. I said, if the police wanted to talk to me, they would have reached out to me. So I'm not buying that shit. She said, oh, call the detective. I said, no, I already talked to a detective. Already talked to me. I'll have that detective talk to that detective. She said, oh, no, this detective is in Atlanta. What freaked me out a little bit is I never told her that the detective I talked to was in Alabama. So it's just strange that it's almost like I don't even know. I just was like, how could she know that the detective talked to me was not in Atlanta? She said, oh, this detective is in Atlanta. I was like, before I could even mention to her that the guy I was dealing with, and I don't even think I told her he was in Alabama, right? I just said, I'll have the detective that talked to me talk to him. There's no need for me to talk to this guy. Why? You know, why? But she was really adamant about me speaking with him, you know, and I didn't trust her initially. You tell me your thoughts. I'm still questioning this situation with her, because I asked her, why would somebody want to hurt you? And she just told me that she knows a lot. And that's what she said to me, you guys. Take a look at this. Tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment. On the next video, we're going to get into publishing, and we're going to get into how that works. And we're going to talk about that, because I feel like I need to start sharing with you guys some of the knowledge about how all that stuff works. We're still going to keep Angie's legacy alive, but we're going to get into the subject of publishing because of Angie, so I can educate artists on certain things that they might not even know. We're going to get into that subject so I can break down some things for you guys that you don't even know. All right. Do me a favor. Stop spinning the narrative, you guys. Stop doing the stuff you do to me. Like especially black content creators out there. You guys got to stop that shit, man. We all should be working together to create attention, because of the bigger news media outlets are not taking this serious. It's up to all of us to make this thing stand out. But if we're going against each other with this crazy stuff that we're allowing people to say and come in and say, that's why when people come in my comment section and, you know, comment with retarded stuff, I treat them exactly how they come in there. I delete it and possibly block them. So know that when you come to my channel with anything negative, if it's not positivity for Angie, it will be deleted. Either TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. Don't come into my comment section leaving bullshit, because you're going to be deleted and I'm going to block you. If you appreciate the conversation I'm giving you about this, respect it. Let's keep the torch lit for the justice and the memory of Angie Stone. Black content creators, we need to work together, y'all. Make sure you hashtag justice for Angie Stone. Let's keep this thing blazing, you guys. Let's keep the attention on this. We have the platforms to keep the attention on this. Let's at least do that. Let's not fight with each other about this. Let's not do that. Check out the stuff again. If you got to go back and rewind and look at this, look at what this young lady said to me in a message, and when she initially hit me up, and look at what she posted, and tell me your thoughts. And yes, she met with a detective that has already filed a police report. You understand what I'm saying? So that you know. I think the police report will be, the case number, the number will be in the police report above, okay? Stone Paxton Music and Life. Catch you guys in the next video, and I'm out.